Hey Canucks fans, let's grade the performance of the Canucks in last night's All-Star Skills Competition. I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter, I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Saturday, January the 25th. As you know, I didn't get a chance to watch the All-Star Skills Competition live. I was at a work event, but I was following the tweets, following the performances, was able to come home and watch it finally late last night. And I want to give my quick letter grades for the three players that were involved: Pettersson, Markstrom, and Hughes. And if you want to leave a comment below with your letter grades, even before you hear me start to talk, that's fine. Give a letter grade. It can include a plus or a minus for the three guys. But I'll tell you, actually, I won't tell you right now. I'll save it for as I'm talking about them. So let's talk about Elias Pettersson first and foremost. In his competition, hardest shot, he came in third, which is very impressive. He only lost to the winner, Shea Weber, and the runner-up, John Carlson, who actually won it last year. So he had a harder shot than Hedman, then who else was in it? Oh, then Giordano, and then Seth Jones as well. So harder than all those guys. He was the only forward, as I made a point of saying, only forward among the six competitors. The other five were D-men. And obviously, he was the only small guy, too. Everyone else was 200 pounds plus. And Pettersson, whether you believe it, it's 176, 178, 180, whatever number you want to use. He's 180 pounds or less. So given all that, it was so impressive that he rifled a shot of 102.4 miles an hour. In fact, I saw a stat. It's the second highest total ever for a forward in this competition. The only higher, Steven Stamkos, a few years ago, shot a blistering 103.9, I think it was. These all sound like radio stations: 103.9, 102.4, 106.5. So anyways, Pettersson shoots a 102.4. He actually shot fourth, so he beat the three guys in front of him, and then Carlson and Weber beat him after that. But 102.4, very impressive. Hard shot, obviously. Great snap, great technique, great whip, whatever you want to use, whatever term you want to use. And you even saw Pettersson's reaction. As he skated and he saw the score, his reading, he kind of gave one of those, he was even impressed himself. And we're always impressed by Pettersson. So 102.4, excellent, excellent, excellent. And then I was kind of joking around, and I think 99% of the people on Twitter got my joke when I did a calculation, got out my spreadsheet, my Excel, my laptop, and I did a miles per hour per pound calculation. Obviously, a reference to the fact that Pettersson is even more impressive, his performance, given how small and how light he is compared to the five burly defensemen he was up against. So, of course, I did their names, did their shot speeds, and then did their weight, and I divided it, shot speed by weight, and then you get a miles per hour per pound of weight calculation. And no surprise there, Pettersson wins that going away with, I think it was a 581 or whatever. I tweeted it out. Actually, I didn't expect the reaction. I got almost 300 likes on Twitter. And like I said, 99% of the people kind of got the joke. And obviously, that's not a real category. I had a couple people saying, what the heck is this? Or what a homer stat. I was like, no kidding. That's the whole point of the joke, right? So I think Pettersson and Giordano were the only two guys that were over 0.500, meaning that when you go miles per hour per pound, that they were more than half. And that makes sense, right? If Pettersson shot 102.4, yet he only weighs 180 pounds, then obviously he's shooting at more than a 0.5 mile per hour per pound clip. Whereas the winner, someone like Shea Weber, who shoots 106 miles per hour, yet he weighs more than 106 times 2, right? He weighs more than 212 pounds, whether it's 220 or 230. Then you can see where his number is less than 0.500. So Pettersson is at like 581, 0.581. Then Giordano is at 512 or something. I can't remember what I said. And then the other four guys are actually less than 0.500. So again, not an official stat, but I tried to make light of or make the point that Pettersson's performance is very impressive if you consider something like his weight. Then other people are saying, well, what about his age or all that kind of thing? That would be kind of cool stat. I don't know how you quantify that. Or maybe you go by year, but regardless, had a lot of fun putting that stat together. It only took me a couple minutes on Excel. I'm not an Excel whiz, but I know how to move formulas and sort and everything like that and make formulas. So Pettersson, he wins the hardest shot when it comes to miles per hour per pound of weight, and he wins it going away. The other thing that was very impressive, you saw Kevin Bieksa interviewing Pettersson, and Pettersson not only showed a skill, but he was answering questions as he was batting a puck up, balancing a puck up and down on a stick, batting it up and down. Did pretty well considering he had to skate, avoid other people, concentrate on the puck, listen to what Bieksa was asking, and then answering properly. I loved his answer of that his favorite colors are blue and green. And I love how he went back at Bieksa and said, there are a lot of people talking about how I didn't know who you were yesterday. I didn't know who you were last year. A clever reference to the fact that Bieksa and Pettersson had a funny exchange last year, and Pettersson indeed did not know who Bieksa was. And to go one step further, it's kind of funny. Some people made the point of how Pettersson knew who I was last year when we met in that story that I've told about 2,000 times now. He knew who I was, but he didn't know who Kevin Bieksa was. So all to say, Pettersson had a very good performance. Hardest shot, very well, did very well. And then obviously in that interview with Bieksa, didn't score in the save streak challenge when he shot against Hellebuck and Binnington. So I dock a bit of marks there. So I'm going to give him a B+. It's not an A. He wasn't excellent last night, but he certainly was very good. That's why I understand B+ to B. So I'm giving him a B+ based on his great performance in the hardest shot. You know, he didn't win or he didn't come in second, so I can't give him an A, but it was a very good performance, surprising performance. His interview, and then docking a tiny bit off because he didn't score in the save streak challenge. So there you go, a B+ for Elias Pettersson. Let me know if that's too high, too low in the comments. Let's move to Jacob Markstrom. I'm giving him, I'll just say the ranking right away, the grade. I'm giving him a B+ as well. In the save streak, he was okay. He made a lot of saves, but a lot of it has to do with timing and where you make those saves. So his save streak was only at 5 because I think he saved a couple, then he let one in, and then he saved 4 more or 5 more before his streak ended. So I'm gonna, it was just okay, considering that the winner Binnington I think had 9 or 10, and then other guys had 9. Binnington had 12 actually. Then the next guy had 9, and then you had Jacob Markstrom down near the bottom at 5. So it wasn't the best performance ever, but a couple of things that prop up his grade: the sweet suit he was wearing as he walked the red carpet. It was a tribute. It was designed by Godfrey Gao, Godfrey Gao actually is the proper way to say his name, Taiwanese Canadian actor and model that passed away at the end of November. And Gao founded this clothing company, and as a tribute to this to his late friend, Jacob Markstrom wore this pretty sweet suit that had these lapels that kind of I don't know how to explain it, but in essence, when the flash went off, it came off as color. So they weren't like blinking or anything, but when pictures were developed that used flash, you saw a nice little myriad of colors on his lapel. So he looked good basically, and it was a really nice tribute. Also, he also had fun with Kevin Bieksa. He made 5 saves, so he won $100 from Bieksa in a kind of funny exchange on the air. And then he turns around, Markstrom does, and gives those gives that money to Anze Kopitar's kids who were on the bench. So that was pretty funny too. So he basically takes Bieksa's money and passes it on to Kopitar's kids, and he tells Kopitar's kids, "Shh, don't tell your mom." And I thought that was really cute as well. So not bad. Five saves in the save streak, looking good, giving Bieksa's money away. And of course, the one thing that a lot of people are talking about, because he was wearing a live mic, so going back and forth with Bieksa, talking to the commentators, he also let out an F-bomb when one of the players beat him. I think it was Roman Josi of the Nashville Predators beat him 5-hole as Markstrom stood up. And then I don't say these words, but he gave a nice little F off that was quite audible on the broadcast. The commentators didn't mention it; they kind of tried to gloss over it, but we all heard it. We all seen it on Twitter, and it was fine. It's kind of, I don't say those words, but it's kind of harmless, and it just showed his competitive nature, and yet he was having fun as well. So I give Jacob Markstrom, had nothing to do with the swearing, although that was a very memorable moment. Actually, the F-bomb, the $100. And his suit, I'd give him really good marks for all that. The only thing that's bringing him back is his actual performance in the save streak of only 5 saves. So I'm giving him a B+ as well. So I got Pettersson at a B+, Jacob Markstrom at a B+. Then we have our rookie Quinn Hughes. He did not score in the save streak when he went against Hellebuck and Binnington. He came in last, 8 out of 8. He was the 8th fastest time in the fastest skater, and no really on ice quotes that are very memorable with Kevin Bieksa, which is no big deal. That shouldn't be the basis of the ranking. But Quinn Hughes, he came in last in his competition. Yet he's a rookie, and I've always said this. I said it on Twitter. I said it in my video yesterday. I wouldn't say that Quinn Hughes is the fastest A to B speed, because he doesn't really have to, unless he's chasing a guy down. But we've never really seen how truly fast he is. But what he really excels at is his edge work, the way he cuts, the way he pivots, the way he turns, and especially with the puck. So I think he would have kicked butt in like the old school puck control relay, and before it got a little gimmicky, like back in the day where they had to do the turns and the pivots around the cones, and skating, end to end with those cones and with the pylons. I think that Quinn Hughes would completely crush the competition in an event like that. But it's not like that anymore. As we know, fastest skater, they don't have puck control, number one, and it's now just fastest skater, which is around. Like I said, he's not going to compete with Eichels and the Barzels, who's the winner, and the McDavids of the world. So Quinn Hughes came in last, but I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, if it was an edge or pivot or turning or puck control, really, I think he would have done a lot better. So you think, he came in last. That should be a C- or a D or an F. I'm not going to be that harsh given that he's a rookie and he still held himself well. Only rookie there, and I think he's the only rookie there. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And we're obviously so proud that he is there, and he's obviously going to be there many more times to come. So maybe I'm a little generous. I'm going to give a C+, because he's certainly not B, like in the very good or good. But so he was average. You could argue he was below average, but I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt, given that he's a rookie and that he was the only defenseman in that fastest skater. So just like Pettersson was the only forward in the hardest shot, Quinn Hughes was the only defenseman in the fastest skater and a rookie at that. So for all those reasons, I'm actually going to bump it up to a C+ as opposed to anything lower than that. So there we go, Canucks fans. A B+ for Pettersson, a B+ for Markstrom, and a C+ for Quinn Hughes. I would love to know your grades for the three of them last night. Put them down below and give me justification, or if you give your own grades and critique mine. Tell me if I'm right on. Tell me if you think I'm too generous or if I'm too harsh on our guys. But all to say, it was wonderful to see three Canucks players, and then today going to the All-Star game, it's the Canucks are like the first team in many, many years. I saw the stat. I can't remember how many years where we have rookies in 3 consecutive years. Obviously, Brock Besser, who's the MVP in 2018, Elias Pettersson last year in 2019, and Quinn Hughes this year in 2020. So I won't be watching all the games. I'd be curious to see. I won't be watching because I'll be at church for the first part, then I'll be able to see the final. Be curious to see what order they go in. I made the point in my vlog yesterday how last year they put the Pacific Division in the first game, which maybe strategically was good if they had won, and then they could rest during the second game, although I don't know how much rest you need for the final. But because the Pacific Division lost last year in San Jose, it kind of took the air out of the crowd, the air of the sails, so to speak. So we'll see if the Central and the Pacific play first or second. When's the Western Conference game? When's the Eastern Conference game? And I'd love to see a final that has 3 Canucks on it, obviously. And then I kind of joked around, ideal lines to me would be Pettersson, McDavid, and Hughes, or Pettersson, Draisaitl, and Hughes, or Pettersson, Hughes, and anyone. And then, of course, Draisaitl, McDavid, Tkachuk line would be hilarious as well. So we'll see. I'll watch it tonight, and then I won't do a post-game vlog, but I'll talk about it more in my video tomorrow, and then we'll do that live stream, the weekly live stream at the end of tomorrow night as well. So we can talk about tonight's game tomorrow. Enjoy it if you're watching it. I'm looking forward to it. It's a lot of fun, not too serious, but $1 million to the winner, $100,000 plus to each player, or actually there's 11 players, so just under $100,000, about $90,000. But that's $90,000 is $90,000. That's like a year and a half of my salary, more or less, give or take a few grand. Either way. Okay, I think I've said enough. Canucks fans, let me know what you think. B+ for me, for Pettersson. B+ for me, for Markstrom. C+ for Hughes. Too high, too low. Let me know. Put your grades down below. Enjoy the day. God bless. Subscribe if you'd like to. Like this video if you'd like to. Go Canucks, go.